Welcome to the B2T Show. This is Rick, your host, here on July 9th. You can see I'm in a hotel room, so not the best setup here that I have. Hoping that the actual, I'm going to check out right here quick just to see how good my connection is. It looks like my connection is pretty good here in the hotel, but we have so much Q, and we have Trump saying it's my turn, or tons of new Q, and also talking about billionaires are no longer blind to justice. So that's the most exciting thing I think that we have here so far. And I'm going to actually be flipping between different screens here. There, I'm trying to get to there. There's a bunch of people on already. All right, I think Karen was the first one on, and Jen Jasmine I see. So where are you all you guys from? I see Chicago and South Dakota, Georgia, the Aloha from the Big Island. I love it, John. Thanks, appreciate you being on here. So let's get rolling here. Let me know if there's any sound problems or anything, because I'm using my traveling microphone and all kinds of things here. So we are going to dig into these Q posts. As you can see, we had the My Turn, and then there's a couple more that came in last night. But before I make sure I get to the sponsor of the show, because I missed them yesterday. But boy, don't let them miss you. This is this virtual shield. Again, my very first sponsor, and these guys are awesome, guys. I don't have them on right now just because I signed up here, but boy, it's really simple to use. And I'm worried from hotel that I'm not going to be able to get to the right thing. But these guys are incredible. If you want to be able to do many things, it's the year 2019, and if you're not using a VPN now on your desktop, tablet, and mobile device while you browse the internet, then you're really exposing yourself to a lot of potential danger. You at some point in your online career have heard of a VPN, but what is it? So it's really a virtual private network. So everything goes to the router and it has a number on it. It's an IP address. Most all routers never changes, right? So it's easy to track you to that. But if you ever needed to if you were restricted to go to websites, a VPN can get you around that, about regional restricted websites. It also gives you, this protects you from the prying eyes of a public Wi-Fi, and it encrypts your data as well as changes that IP address. That's the beautiful thing about it. And so it's much more secure. You can get a 30-day trial if you just go to virtualshield.com, and you come down here and you can hit get started. Gives you a 30-day free trial, and you just go here and protect myself or protect my family, and it gives you the pricing here. Again, this is an incredibly good pricing, only $4.99 for 24 months if you want the free 30 days. Now my site, that's virtualshield.com/blessed, is only $3.99. There's no 30-day trial. So if you want the 30-day trial, go that route. If you want a better deal and trust that you need this anyway, get virtualshield.com/blessed and come here. You can see for $3.99. You also get 20% off all these different add-ons that you can have, such as things that protect your camera and your microphone. Just a great deal for these guys. Seriously, if you haven't done this yet, try this out. Incredibly good price. It's one of the fastest in the world, one of the easiest in the world to use, as well as they don't keep logs. So nobody can ever find out where you were surfing, and that's the right to privacy that you should have, right? So that's the whole point about this, is protect your personal data now with a VPN. You can go to virtualshield.com/blessed and get your 20% off the monthly on these other add-on items. All right, let's get rolling on the Q post. And so the first one that we went off the air. This is 10:57 p.m. We went off the air right after we saw this post, but it wasn't too much longer. I guess it was pretty darn late post. 11:36 p.m. last night, Q posts this. He reposts the January 7th post that says U.S. taxpayers are paying for it all. Let me flip over so I can see your guys' comments in case there's anything going on. So looks like everything's going good. Guys, let me know if anything's a problem with the app Blessed to Teach. I'm here in the hotel room in the Northeast, and I'll be flying all over the country. I'll be probably in Nashville over the weekend, etc. So You'll probably seen me from the hotel rooms for quite a while here over the next 3 or 4 days. But anyway, let's get into this. He talked about U.S. taxpayers are paying it for full, paying for it all. Paris Accord equals scam, trillions. Red Cross equals scam, billions. Foreign aid equals scam, trillions. War equals scam, trillions. On and on. Who audits where the money actually goes? Who actually receives the money? The U.S. taxpayer is funding the very people we are engaged in taking down. Slush funds everywhere. Think GS, George Soros, pays for Antifa out of his own pocket? The hole is deep. Feel sick yet? Q. So people are telling me my volume is low, so I'm just going to make a real quick adjustment. Thank you for that. Thank you for the feedback. And then it has this Twitter of Sarah Carter and goes through a real long post. Before I do that, I'm going to change my volume setting just real quick for this. And so you guys will see how to do this in OBS. So OBS is the software I use for those of you who ever want to create a YouTube channel. That would be really important thing to do. And so right here you have your 2 microphone volumes, and you go right here, and I can go to properties, and that just picks the microphone. And if I go right here to this and I put advanced audio properties, it gives me volume. Wow, something's changed in this new version. And they have new versions all the time. So I'm moving this up and hoping that is going to take my microphone up. I want to 1.1. Okay, so let me see. Give me any feedback of whether that sounds better. All right, we'll keep on rolling here. We got the Twitter article from Sarah Carter, and it says, imagine what would happen if by law every U.S. congressman, woman, U.S. senator, president, etc. was by U.S. law audited every 1 to 2 years by an independent agency. Now, John, too much bass. I'm not going to probably be able to do anything with that because it's my microphone. So I don't have my awesome sound equipment that Kelvin got me that I have at home. But here is her tweet. It says, where is our money? In 2015, Barack Obama and Joe Biden gave Equatorial Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, $4.4 million in U.S. aid. In 2016, Swiss government seized 25 supercars valued at $13 million belonging to the son of president of EG. He is facing charges of corruption and money laundering. Retweet. She had $13 million of these supercars. And Obama and Biden gave him $4.4 million. Whoa, crazy stuff there. And if I go back to the Q, he basically said, imagine what would happen if those audits extended to all family members of such elected official. Would these continue? Would the Democrats continue to push for foreign aid to other countries versus the homeland? What happens when the kickbacks dry up? Maxine Waters, $4 million house. Nancy Pelosi, net worth of $150 million. Joe Biden's son, brother, net worth tens of millions. Clinton family, $200 million. Pre-election of Bill Clinton, less than $1 million. Obama family, $40 million. Pre-election, less than $1 million. Disguised under book deals. Those who are offered more powerful positions with the party. Controlled. Drain the swamp. Q. Woo! Hey, good to see you, Law Dog. Thank you, Amy Merca as well. Mercia for being the monitors on here. Really do appreciate you too, as well as anybody else that's on that monitors. Appreciate it. So again, that was post 3383. I know I missed one. I want to be real thorough this time to make sure I don't miss it. But yeah, so that was the whole one that came in late last night. Now, there's another one that came in late last night, too, just right after that. And it says, Tom Steyer is not sleeping well these days. Attack a political opponent will not work. Justice is no longer blind to those with billions. Q. Woo! This is exciting, guys, because Tom Steyer is a criminal, man. This guy is a billionaire who is an anti-Trumper all the way, and you know those who are the loudest, right? And he gives just millions and millions of dollars away to socialist parties that are just, and anybody that will fight Trump, right? And you know the fact that he is such a big Democratic donor, this whole attack a political opponent that he paints himself under is just not going to work anymore. Sorry, Tom. Guess you're not going to sleep too well. And so that's why justice is no longer blind to those with billions. You got to love that. And then he went silent until about noon today, and then boom, he starts again. So Q has been busy. Says, you didn't think the Epstein investigation began a few months ago, did you? It was all under direction and oversight of AG Jeff Sessions. Expect a lot more to become public. Unsealing. Q. Man, is that just music to our ears? Music to our ears. I tell you what, that is just exactly what we have been waiting for all this time. It's good to see Q talking like this so boldly. Here's 3385. You didn't think Epstein investigation began a few months ago, just reposted exactly what we just read, and then he amplifies on it by saying, bar not recused from pending cases, only passed. So that's talking about Epstein. So there's a D fight coming. So basically the Democrats are going to try to get Barr to recuse himself. And obviously that worked on Sessions, but it was part of the plan. I don't think this is part of the plan. That's why it's going to be a fight. Liberal outrage coming. Pelosi's daughter inserted. Countermade. Simple. Q. So I'm not sure exactly what this is all about, other than Nancy is trying to link Trump to this whole Epstein problem because of one of the persons in his cabinet was one of the lawyers that negotiated the, basically the slap on the wrist that he got, that Epstein got, right? But bottom line, we're looking at a liberal outrage coming, but maybe Pelosi won't be so involved because her daughter is linked into Epstein somehow. I don't know. She said something. She tweeted Epstein's daughter actually had a tweet out that actually said something like Epstein's horrible, but and many of our fabs might go down, Republican or Democrat, right? So I'm not that so sure what she meant by what Q's talking about. Pelosi's daughter inserted, countermade, simple. So interesting stuff going there. So obviously Nancy is pretty dirty in all this, and we'll see exactly where that leads us. Now that was 3386. Now we go to 3387, and you have a YouTube. This is this same beautiful YouTube video. I watched it again all through today. It's a little 6-minute video that was this.
Our movement.
This video will get Donald Trump elected, right? And so if you get a chance, go back and listen to that. I'm not going to play it here. It's at 5 minute 48, but if you go back and listen to it, it's almost like prophetic. Exactly what he told us is actually happening. It says, listen very carefully. Again, note past 2 years. Note next 6 years. You were told what was going to happen. You were told what battles we face. Strategic, pre-planned, patriots in control. Q. It's like, yeah, you're right. Patriots in control. You got to love that part. 3388. Here's another Sarah Carter tweet. It says there's a big direct reason why Flynn's new attorney is seeking security clearance. Q. I think this is Sidney Powell. And so you'll see Sarah's talking about Michael Flynn was forced to file a FAR registration in February 2017 under extreme and unprecedented pressures from extensive interactions with the National Security Division, including the NSD head, David Loffman. And so the attorney, this new attorney, is actually pointing toward that. So if you go click on this article and actually look at it, you see Michael Flynn's new brief shines sunlight on prosecutors' tactics. And so as you look at this, it just really is talking about how they're trying to the reverse and try to find Flynn as a co-conspirator in a different case that has to do with some of his partners. And they're fighting it pretty hard. So Sidney Powell, who's the attorney for Trump, is obviously Q just told us she's fighting for security clearance. So there's a direct reason why. And I would imagine that obviously has something to do with Flynn knowing where all the bodies are buried, all the way from when he worked with Obama. And he knows, and that's why they tried so hard to get him out of the way. And they successfully knocked him out of the White House, but they didn't knock him out, out of the cabinet, right? But they did not knock him out of injecting evidence. And that may have been the plan all along for him to be in there. And so the way they've delayed his sentencing so many times, I think he's just injecting more and more and more evidence in. And so anyway, this is an interesting article by Sarah A. Carter. You can go to my show notes to actually get the full articles. And that would be blessedtoteach.com, blessed with the number 2 teach.com. If you want to go get all my show notes, make sure you add yourself to the email list. So interesting that there's a direct reason why Flynn's new attorney is seeking security clearance. This makes me wonder that if she's going to be helping pull together and might be one of the prosecutors in the military tribunals, so I think her role is going to be a lot bigger than just Flynn's attorney, I believe. All right, and she is awesome, man. I went and listened to Sidney Powell video. Just go search on her on YouTube, and there's one from a couple months ago where she lays out Spygate brilliantly and bluntly. I was shocked about how blunt it is. Way more blunt than what Sean Hannity or Dan Bongino would even do, right? Maybe as blunt as Dan Bongino, but much more blunt than Hannity would do. Here's 3389 getting to AG and Rogers meeting. Durham and Rogers meetings? Why did Rogers retire? Why did Rogers visit POTUS at Trump Tower without authorization shortly after a skiff was installed? And obviously allows them to talk completely privately, right? Why did select former ABC directors call for the removal of Rogers? Why did POTUS move his transition command center base of ops from Trump Tower the very next day? Q. And this is interesting. He's mentioned this before. So all this lower stuff we've heard quite a bit before, right? So the CIA and FBI, all these people, they tried to get rid of Rogers because Obama wanted him gone because he knew where all the bodies were buried, and they're trying to hide everything, right? So just the fact that they wanted to get rid of Admiral Rogers is a big deal. And obviously, Durham's researching all this Fisk and FISA stuff as well. So the abuse of that, and so the fact that they met, which is what Q's hinting at, is quite exciting. So AG Rogers meeting, and so the whole Attorney General, that would be Barr, of course, and then you've got her meeting Durham, shows that Admiral Rogers is still involved, which is really exciting, and it also shows that he's really not retired. He's retired from a position so he can inject his evidence, as well as probably be part of these military tribunals that are coming up. Anyway, that's my thoughts. If you got different thoughts, put it in the comments below. That's what this channel's all about. I'm not anybody special. I work full time. A lot of you guys have some of you guys have a lot more time than I do, and other decoders have a lot more time than I do. So sometimes I'm not going to be perfect. By the way, I better mention and correct some of the things I said. As you know, I read one that talked about there's no longer surveillance on SC/JS. And I was thinking that was Supreme Court because they had surveilled all the Supreme Court people. But it obviously was people I tell you to watch almost every episode. I say, watch Hannity because of Sarah Carter and John Solomon. And then because I had Supreme Court in my mind, I got that wrong. So again, it was obviously they're talking about Sarah Carter, SC, and JS, John Solomon. And then another thing I did that may have been in error as well is when the H, there's a lot of argument over what the H is, and I think it's the IG report is being the H, which would be Horowitz. When I said Huber, it's kind of optimistic thinking because Huber is the what do you call it, the prosecutor, right? So I'll show you that right here on this other sheet so I don't get messed up where I am. But we're here, surveillance of JC plus JS terminated, sleep well Q. And so this is obviously Sarah Carter and John Solomon in 3373. And there's another one that went over all the H plus, so it was H. See if I can find this. Then it kind of had I think it had one of these greater than signs. Nope, it's not going to search well for that for me. It looks like here. And then it had, see if this does it for me, H space, and then we had D, and we also had C. Nah, it's not doing a good job searching for that, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to find that one. But you know what I mean. It was talking about Huber, then Comey. That's going to lead to the D class. The D is the D class, and then the I is the indictments. So I was saying Huber versus Horowitz. Who knows? Maybe they're both working together. That's what we're hoping, and that's what we were told they were doing. Anyway, that was great decode. I mean, great drop there by Q, and exciting to think that Rogers is ready for the military tribunals as well as assisting with the whole Fisk issues, etc. So here is 3390, a New York Times article. It says, so much Flynn in the news today. So here's another article about the very similar thing that Sarah Carter was talking about, right? Michael Flynn changes his story, putting him on collision course with Judge. So obviously they spin it to be negative on Flynn because they're part, just like the Democratic Party, who wanted the media is just a criminal cabal with 4 a.m. talking points, right? So, and it's obviously the New York slime. So that's what you're going to get is a story that slants it. But Q's pointing us to it to show that, yeah, they're worried about Flynn too. Here is 3391, and this is basically pointing back to a December 12th. We already knew this, where a Anon asked on December 12th, is JFK Jr. alive? And Q said, no, Q. So that was very clear. Now, a lot of people still think because of Able Danger and other things that this may have been disinformation and protecting him, and he really is still alive. So there's still a segment of the population that think he is alive. I don't think he is, just personally. I hope he is. Don't get me wrong. And I do listen to Able Danger every once in a while because people send me it, and I don't have time to listen to all of them, but just the clips, and it's interesting. But it is interesting also that Able Danger always has information that the other Anons don't. So that's a red flag of potential, potential disinformation, or he literally has sources that other people don't, which would kind of be interesting. But just to let you know, and then obviously when I was taking a picture with Vincent Fusca, he was 5'6" or 5'7", and I'm 5'11". There's probably very little chance that he was a 6'1" JFK Jr. and somehow they shrunk him. So anyway, just thinking out loud there. So now, when the fake news can't attack you directly, use facts. So Q's whole point here is that they just went off, the mainstream media went off on those people that did believe JFK Jr. was alive and put all kinds of fake news articles. And some people talk about there's 2 JFK Juniors. Two Vincent Fuscas. One's shorter and one's taller. But guys, it doesn't matter. The plan is going to work with or without JFK Jr., right? and so no, I did not think Vincent looked or talked like JFK Jr. So not much resemblance, in my opinion, there. On the one that I took the picture with. If there's 2 of them, who knows? But here is when the fake news can't attack you directly, use facts. Now, some people are all mad of the JFK Jr. believers, if you will, saying, oh, they're hurting the movement. Guys, you can't hurt this movement. I'm sorry, it's too powerful. Number 1, the Lord's behind it. And number 2 is that this is, we've already won. It's a military intelligence operation. They wouldn't have started if they didn't know they'd already won. They have everything. right? So it's a matter about how they're going to respond to the enemy. It's an extremely powerful enemy, but they have so much on them, they have no chance, right? So let's relax and not point fingers at each other and keep our guns pointed at the cabal is my suggestion here. That's why the whole thing with Matrix and Shady going to see the Ramtha thing. Obviously, I know Ramtha is a false spirit and teaching false doctrine. But hey, we need to lock our arms with people of all religions to get freedom of religion, to get rid of the cabal, right? We can have the theology discussion later. It doesn't mean that my ministry is a little different, right? Mine, as I've said in the past, I'm focused on Christian patriots. Matrix and Shady are focused on all patriots. So it's a difference there, okay? Now here we go. So again, it's just back to unity. Let's point our guns at the, at the enemy, at the cabal. Now I disagree with this, guys. Here's somebody making an assumption that says JF Jr. is dead. May he rest in peace. Undisturbed by wishful anons. And so this, this is to me taking too big of a stance, because again, this could still be disinformation. He could still be alive. I hope so, but anyway, just FYI. All right, I just don't think he is. Okay. All right, here we are on 3392. Another article: the hunters become the hunted, and this is interesting because it's talking about this guy named Ed Buck. Another very wealthy man. Democrat donor Ed Buck accused of human trafficking and revenge porn after a man dies in his home. I reported on this quite a while back, where somebody died in his house. Second man to die in his house, and he's a sick dude, man. It looks like he's attracted to black men and has them puts them on drugs and videotapes them and does all kinds of sexual activity. So really gross stuff. But now, and that's the information that you'll see in this article. I'm not going to go over it in any detail, but this Gemmel Moore at the time was 26-year-old, and Ed Buck flew him here from Texas, and within 24 hours he died of a crystal meth overdose. So these people are sick, and the fact that Q is saying that he is the hunted now shows that he is most likely, Ed Buck is one of the many of these sick puppies. Here we go on 3393, talking about gold standard coming back. Do we have the gold? Gold shall destroy the Fed. This is exciting to me because, I have gold because I've been banking on this for 2+ years now, and it just shot up recently because of this, actually, because Judy Shelton is a gold standard advocate and got put on the board. And so the other person though was less so. So he pointed two people, but this is why gold went up from 12,400 to 13,000 or whatever. Skip this. So you can see Trump Fed pick wants to revive the gold standard. Here's what that means. Pretty good article. I read through it all today, and it doesn't really give any other hints other than you have the so-called experts saying there's no way we can go to the gold standard. But I think it's been pretty clear that's exactly what Trump is trying to do, and I really think that is where it's going. And Q tells us outright, gold shall destroy the Fed. All right, so gold-backed currency. The Fed actually can create huge economic growth by printing more money and pulling back the money and causing recessions and depressions. They were part of how they purposely created the Great Depression. And they obviously created the 2008 worst economy in 50 years as well. One of the reasons is I've talked about me having a chip on my shoulder based on my business. And here we go on 3394. Again, another article from CBS this time, CNBC, I'm sorry. Joe Biden releases tax returns during the 2020 Democratic primary. And he's got, Q says, $15 million more personally declared. What amazing coincidence. Think of yesterday's drop. And he's talking about last night's drop. Disguised under book deals. And so that is pretty funny if you think about it. Because we saw, if I come back, I'm going to try to come over here so I don't lose my place on the other one. But we had tons of drops today. So I'm switching between qmap.pub, and this is qanon.pub. You can see the white background is this qanon.pub. So if I go back all the way, right here, we started at my turn, right, and the first article that was here was all the scams, right? So obviously, I think Q knew this other article was going to come out, his tax returns, and that's why he's talking about all these Democrat donors just laundering money right and left, many disguised under book deals. And so if you go to this drop and you see the article that he's talking about, he says disguised under book deals again, and you'll see when you look at both these husband and wife, Joe and Jill Biden, made more than $15 million in 2 years. Pretty good deal. Yeah, become a politician, make $100K a year or whatever, $190K a year, and then you basically actually do all kind of laundering to where you make millions, and then you hide it as if it's the books are making that money. Guys, books don't make that much money, believe me. So you can see Joe Biden and his wife Jill earned more than $15 million, and you'll see down here talks about how their income spiked from about $396K in 2016 with $4.6 million. Okay, that's a big money coming in, and it's because he's touted as this middle class Joe, and he's a multi-millionaire now, and it's kind of funny, but you'll see. I'm just gonna do a quick search on book because you'll see they both do books. There it is. The Bidens pulled in millions from Joe Biden's speaking engagements and books written by Jill and Joe, and that's where they're disguise all this laundering of money that's being kicked back to them, as if they're getting these great speaking engagements and book deals. So that is those books are just a money laundering mechanism. Obviously, that's what Q's pointing to, right? And he says disguised under book deals. All right, that's 3394. Now if we go to 3395, another article says worth remembering, planned 1 + 1 = 2. And actually, this is the I think the December 2017. Yeah, this was December 21st, 2017 executive order, and this blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse. That means Epstein's entire estate is at risk, right? And they've already blocked thousands and thousands of people's assets. That's what they've been doing for the last 2.5 years. Ever since December 21st, 2017, they've been really nailing them on, basically cutting off the cash flow of the cabal. And so there's lists that are 3 columns long that goes for thousands of pages of all the companies and people where they blocked the property of those people and companies. So it's a beautiful thing. It was all planned. 1 + 1 = 2. So in December 2017, over a year and a half ago, this is how brilliant this plan is. You can just see how everything we've learned is starting to come to light as future proves past. Here's 3396. Very long drop here. It says BC/RC Epstein plane pick. Talking about Bill Clinton and Rachel Chandler, right? Did the FBI DOJ interview RC? And it'd be interesting because whether they did or not, I would guess this is kind of talking about probably not. When did public awareness grow across social media? Well, it's when Q started posting it. That's when it did. Class 1 to 99. What age is RC in the picture? Under the age of 18? And he's got 15 in brackets answering his own question. Who posted the picture? Rachel Chandler. Who posted internal security cam pics of the temple? IG. So that whole Moloch temple that they think child sacrifices are going down there and all kinds of rape stuff and underage sex is just the big tip of the iceberg, right? And so I think that those pics were Rachel Chandler posted those as if she was untouchable. Untouchable mindset by all involved. Blackmail, power, top-down protection. So I think it's kind of all the above. So these pictures that they're basically saying, I have pictures of you doing these bad things down there as blackmail, or as proving and getting in the next level of the club, if you will, power, right? Or kind of like Huma Abedin did against Hillary, having an insurance file, right? So people, that's when you start doing a bunch of criminal activity and being with a bunch of criminals. They're all trying to protect themselves and getting more powerful, as well as blackmailing others. That's what the whole mess is. And it says plane plus temple plus XYZ pics equals witness. So I think what Q's saying is, we have it all, dudes. We have it all, and people are starting to turn on each other. As I guess what this post is about, is putting pressure on everybody, going, oh my goodness, what does he have? Maybe I should come clean, and I don't want to go down with the ship. What do I do? I think this is an awesome part of the plan. QAnon is not just telling us what to do, it's actually forcing the enemy into taking actions, making mistakes. Why did Rachel Chandler start from form a modeling talent agency? Well, obviously she needed more meat to go into the island, and so she basically ended up being a recruiting agency that wasn't really modeling. It was eventually to get them into Pedo Island. Why was Rachel Chandler, Epstein, and the M Temple, the Moloch, that's the scary part about it. If you go read about what that Moloch Temple's about, it's about child sacrifice. Highlighted in the past. So why was that highlighted in the past? It's dark to light. These people are sick. Cute. So awesome pressure being put on by Q, I believe, right here. And the answer to this question, I believe, is that it was put out to basically put pressure and make them, because what do? He starts burning the island. He starts filling up the tunnels. Supposedly, if you go back and look at the temple right now, there's not even, the gold dome is off of it, right? So I think that's the answer to that, is that Q was forcing them to take actions, and that allowed them to document more things and really put the fine tip on all these indictments that obviously Sessions was working on months and months and months ago. Kind of cool, huh? Here's post 3397, and he's posting something back all the way from February, and it's when he said he showed all this Bill Maher stuff. That was pretty crazy. Kid Love Productions, and then it shows Bill Maher, I'm Swiss in 2005, Real Time with Bill Maher in 2003, Bill Maher, Be More Cynical, and you can see some of the quotes he has here. This is gross. The worst they said Michael Jackson, did was a little grabby under the covers. If I could go back and trade that experience, being beat up at age 12, for being gently masturbated by a pop star, I would do it in a New York second. So you see, he's basically mocking pedophilia here and stuff. It's really sad. She is in jail because she's in love. That's how I view it. She's talking about Maher said that this about the Seattle school teacher convicted of having sex with a 12-year-old student and getting pregnant by him. And here he is again, but with Deborah LaFave screwing her 14-year-old boy student. The crime is that we didn't get it on videotape. Was he being taken advantage of? I wish I had been taken advantage of like that. What a memory she gave him, Bill Maher. So you can see these are just pure pedophilia type activities that he's making it sound funny. Those who are the loudest, Q, and that's what he said way back in the February time frame. Now he amplifies on it. Q says he actually points to Bill Maher's Twitter, just his basic Twitter, saying no joke and or reference regarding Epstein, no attempt to connect back to POTUS, silence, hunted, Q. So that is kind of wild if you just think about it. What you have, well, you have him taunting Bill Maher. That is pretty wild with Q doing that so directly. Now, here's another picture. This comes all the way back to 3397. It shows what we just read. And then he shows another picture. And it has Q. Look at this. Q's on his, and he's making fun of QAnon, acting like he's some conspiracy guy, right? And Q replies to that and says, "Not so funny now, ... Q." That is just taunting, trolling Bill Maher. It's like, Bill Maher. Whoa, crazy stuff. I think that was the last one. Let me refresh to see if we had any others before I get to some other news and some prophecy. Let's see. Yep, that was the last one. So the 3397. Let me know if I missed anything. But that was a lot of meat from Mr. Q today and last night, late last night, right? So he is back. Yeah, Bill is a creep. I hear you, Law Dog. That's exactly right. Now let's sneak over here and find some more news I had. Epstein's private pedo island. This is what I was showing you. See how it had this? This is this Moloch and this gold temple. So out in, they said their signs are going to, what's going to be their downfalls, or their need to show everybody their symbolism, right? And you can just see that this is new pictures reveal the temple in Epstein's private island has had its dome removed. So they've burned it. They've been covering up the tunnels, and now they've removed and you can see some of the pictures here. All right, here's a picture of the back of it. You can see the dome temple has been removed. See more pictures of it here. The photos seem to clearly show the dome from the top of the creepy temple is to be missing. Here's a picture of what it used to look like, and there's a new picture with the dome removed. So they're trying to hide. He's trying to hide as much as he can, but it's not gonna work. And here's Brian Cates. So he had a whole thread here that I'm not gonna have time to go over, but I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that there was a pretty cool thread about Bill Clinton and Epstein. But I'll just read just part of it. So I understand Bill Clinton has released a statement regarding his longtime associate with Jeffrey Epstein. That's interesting. Hey everybody, let's see a show of hands. Would this be a good time for the Wiener laptop to resurface or not? So 99% are saying, yeah, it'd be a great time for the Wiener laptop to show up. Right. Even I, who have spent over a year and a half counseling people to be patient, I'm stunned at the careful, strategic patience of this current president. A year and a half ago, I thought this would have all dropped long before now. Trump waited until he had started his re-election campaign. Now watch the Dem Party leadership, the Clintons, all the yahoos running for the Dem nomination get constantly surprised by one drop after another over the next couple of months. They'll constantly be wrong-footed. The Epstein arrest indictment springs from top government officials doing corrupt deals to let him walk so as to protect him and the powerful people he associated with, many of whom likely shared his own sexual proclivities. And now it's all going to be exposed. Brian Cates says, now it's becoming clear to me why, since Trump and his team took over the Epstein case, was played close to the vest, and the Wiener laptop has been carefully, oh so carefully, kept under wraps and out of sight while they mapped out the networks and built their cases. There were no sensational leaks to damage the building of these cases, either at the DOJ or the Southern District of New York. That's how you know serious professionals were in charge of this, not grandstanding corporate morons that many pictured here. Talking about all these people here, right? And the Epstein case springs from the Southern District of New York Public Corrupt Unit being told to dig deep into and re-examine the suite sweet deal Jeffrey Epstein got from the Florida U.S. attorneys. Those of you who spent 2 years telling me how useless and corrupt or whatever that Jeff Sessions was are about to have it graphically proven to you that you know nothing. Spygate was outsourced to Rosenstein so Sessions could spend all his time dealing with other issues. Among those other issues Sessions spent all his time on were setting up federal leak hunting task forces, federal task forces in the major blue cities to crack down on gun crime and vote fraud. Oh yes, mapping out the pedo networks and building cases against them. Rosenstein was Trump's hand-picked guy, brought in late April 2017 to facilitate the Spygate countermeasures. Many people watched that send-off ceremony he got 2 months ago and couldn't figure out why Barr and others wanted to pin a medal on him as he departed. A lot of people still can't grasp what Sessions and Rosenstein were actually doing, but that's okay because their ignorance doesn't change a thing about what this is going to go down. Obviously, Cates is one of those white hat guys on Rosenstein. Trump has even more patience than I gave him credit for. The declassification, the Horowitz report, the scandal of the Epstein case, the stuff about the Wiener laptop, the Project Cassandra stuff, and who knows what else will all drop while he's running for re-election. I'm constantly told, but Brian, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter because the MSM is not going to talk about all of this stuff. Oh, yes, they will. By golly, they will. Because what's Trump going to be doing for the next year and a half? He's going to run exactly as he did in 2019. I think he meant as he did. What do you recall? What Trump's doing most 100 times in the build up to that 26 election? He was doing nothing. He was drinking Diet Coke, watching guerrilla channels, holding televised rallies, which are covered. Yes, Trump will be tweeting on his Twitter account to be sure, but he'll also be holding almost 100 televised rallies all over the country where he regale the live and TV audiences with the latest exciting developments. Imagine Trump up there in front of a live audience of 50,000 plus and a national TV audience. Oh, hey, they finally indicted X. About time, if you ask me. Did you see that indictment? Crowd roars. Even I didn't know about a ton of this stuff. Wow. So GTFO of here with all this, it won't matter. The MSM will just bury it. Most of the public will never see this stuff talk. The Grand Master Troller of the universe will troll these idiots into doing exactly what he wants them to do. He's been doing this for years. The 2016, they thought giving him over $2 billion of free TV time was killing his election chances. They thought most of the people watching were as repulsed by Trump as they are. Their projecting that kept them blind up to the very end. This time, the build up to 2020. Well, of course, the MSM is telling itself, we're not giving him the oxygen. We're not going to show his rallies live. It won't matter. Trump will be announcing things that will make these rallies news, and he'll be talking about stuff that will be irresistible catnip to the DNC media types. The day Mueller testifies in just 9 short days from now, you'll see this playing out for the first time. Did you know Trump has a rally scheduled for that very same night? It's true. Donald J. Trump's having a rally right on the 17th. That's Q Day, number 17. July 17th is Mueller time. And Trump will hold a rally that very night in which he will at some point discuss that day's events and the Congress with Mueller's testimony. So it's scheduled for the 17th now. I think there's some discussion with Barr where he's trying to get out of it. What are the chances while Trump is up there riffing in front of a huge crowd in Greenville, North Carolina that night that he mentions the Epstein case? I'll bet 100%. Now picture a year and a half of this going forward. There's the DNC media over there muttering to themselves, we're not going to cover this next Trump rally, right guys? We're not going to, right? We're not going to. Then something drops that day. Trump will talk about it that night. The media knows he's going to talk about it. That makes it news. He is literally going to be forcing these DNC media hacks to cover his rallies. Oh, sure, they'll cover it 100% negatively like they always do. Will that matter? It will not. They threw everything they had at this guy. He's on a counter-offensive now. They can't stop it. Doom criers who insist Trump is on the way out or down want to keep you from seeing that Trump has all the advantages now. In 2016, he did not. He had the combined might of the DNC, the elite establishment of the power, or the Fed government itself against him. He won anyway. He was an unknown quantity with no track records as a political executive. Now he's got a record to run on, a record of keeping his promises. And while he's running on that stuff, will keep dropping that exposes his enemies and weakens them. Gibbering doom criers are wailing. Nothing's being done about vote fraud. Trump's asleep. Elp, we're gonna be repressed. Federal task forces were already set up to deal with the vote fraud. 2018 was the first election these forces were in place. Trump is actually acutely and very aware of voter fraud. Don't let doom criers tell you he's not, because he is. Because the preparations to lower the boom on the cheating isn't rolled out publicly yet. People, as usual, assume nothing's being done. Hey, Trump, wake up. Trump is unleashed and on the offensive for the next year and a half. So as things continue to drop and Democrats grow more incoherent and radical, screaming that the election is going to be stolen through cheating is about all the doom criers have left. And unfortunately, they deleted some of these tweets. Let's see if I can. Here we go. Oh, no, here we go. Some people, even after everything they've watched for the past 3 years, simply cannot accept the truth that Trump knows exactly what he's doing. They can't accept it because he's not doing it how they think it should be done. I've watched these people scream in frustration at Trump, then angrily announce that they are off the Trump train for good and make a flouncing exit from the room, and then come back and repeat the flouncing exit a few months later when once again Dunce Trump blows it. They're out there right now trying to convince you Dunce Trump has blown it again, getting hit by a totally unforeseen deep state op. Somebody's saying new Q drop. We'll get there in a second. To smear him with an associate with Epstein. And that's why the Southern District of New York, PCU, is suddenly rolling out this case. You know, I tell you, it's a free country. You can follow and listen to whoever you want. But over time, track records develop. And at this point in time, people who tried to repeatedly sell narratives about clueless Trump certainly have a bad one. Trump was the most thoroughly vetted presidential candidate in U.S. history. The Dems and DNC media and the political elite went over everything and his past, and they went over it again multiple times, looking for anything they could hurt him with. There's nothing left to find. So doom criers are now trying to convince you that the Southern District of New York, PCU, is now seeking to fake a case trying Trump to Epstein, with Barr and Horowitz looking over their shoulders. That is beyond absurd. The entire might of the DNC and the RNC political establishments was brought to bear against him in 2016. So was the full might of the DNC media in Hollywood and academia. They mustered all their forces to stop him, and he beat them anyway. When he was an outsider. Oh no, Trump's really doomed now. The usual cast of losers are wailing to you right now. Why, sure he is. Bend. Nobody's getting arrested. Nothing's happening. Do it well, okay. But just Epstein. Nobody else. He's funny. And he continues to go on. Epstein is supposedly a billionaire. Why would they take him down first? Because of assets, forfeiture, and the people he can be induced to give up to the feds. And this goes on and on, guys. But I need to move on. I guess there's a new queue, so let's refresh and see. 33.97 was the last one. And we have 33.99, so it looks like we've got two more. So there's 97. 98 says, Bill Maher isn't laughing anymore. I think this is one we already saw. Let me see the very end, make sure there wasn't. Yeah, no amplification. So there's one more Q post, and it's 33.99. It is a YouTube video, and it says, "Welcome to Epstein Island. Ask yourself, is this normal? What does a temple typically symbolize? What does an owl symbolize? Dark religion? Tunnels underneath? How many channels captured on RC's pic?" I think there's like 8 or 9. Rooms indicate size. Hallways shown. Class 1 through 99. Symbolism will be their downfall. These people are evil. Q. Yeah, somebody's saying if I say Ray Chandler, they're going to pull the video. So that's life, guys. I want them to pull videos. It just basically has a Streisand effect. What the heck? I'm just going to tell truth here and call a lawsuit out on YouTube whenever they do things they shouldn't be doing. Here we go. Drone video. There are various other villas, pool houses, and structures scattered across the island. The most interesting building sits atop the southwest bluffs. There has a much more speculation about the structure, and some claim it is an observatory, while others claim a temple. So anyway, that is exactly what Q's pointing us to. Let me refresh one more time to see if we have anything. We'll move over to a prophecy real quick. That was 3,400. There certainly is a new one. So Amy's saying that was too loud. Sorry, it's tough when I'm traveling, guys, to get all the sound at the right length. So here we go. Aerial video of Jeffrey Epstein. Now here is another, just a repicture of the Flynn thing. Do you believe in coincidences? And it shows an Anon graphic that was put together, and it shows 4 pictures. It says, Flynn news coming, Q. That was on 7/8. And then you saw, sure enough, on 7/9, Michael Flynn's changes his story, putting him in collision course with the judge. So we saw this. So basically, this is just showing that another proof for Q, where he said Flynn news coming, and sure enough, we get all these new articles. Breaking: Judge slams government argument that Michael Flynn is co-conspirator in former partner's trial. Again, and then another one, he's on Sean Hannity, which looks like Sarah Carter confirms judge rules Flynn cannot be named as a co-conspirator and ex-business partner on Sean Hannity. So just another Q-proof. We get live on the air as we're broadcasting here. I think we already burnt the hour, guys. I apologize for that, but I'll tell you what. Yeah, so I'm not sure. So I'm not sure what sound issues I'm having here, guys. Do apologize for that, but let me flip over. I did have a that is not what I was going to do. I was going to show you guys another prophecy, but we're just not going to have time based upon the length of trying to get through all those. And I just thought it was such a cool. The Brian Cates thing I started reading, I couldn't stop. It goes on even for quite a bit longer. But I did want to let you know that Gene sent me some more insight stuff about this whole underground tunnels, all this type of stuff. So I'll read some of that tomorrow. I just wanted to go back to potentially another Bible verse to wrap it up here. Bible memory verse, Isaiah 41:10. Tons of cool Bible verses, guys. That's why I have the 67 I memorized. And again, you can find those on BibleMemory.com or go to Bible Memory and just download it. But in general, let's read through this. So do not fear, for I am with you. So do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Wow, what a great promise from Isaiah 41:10. And we burned up our hour and more here, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up there with a prayer. But let's just think about this verse a little bit. God says, do not fear. Why? Because I am with you. So you got that free gift of Jesus Christ I talk about. That means, boom, the Holy Spirit comes in you and you do not have to fear anymore. What a great promise. That's why it's called the good news gospel. You don't have to fear because the creator of the universe, the Alpha, the Omega, nobody's like him, the omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent God is with you. What a great promise. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. Just think about that, guys. The Lord of the universe wants to be your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I tell you what, that is something that you want. I hope all of you want that. And all it takes is grabbing the free gift is Jesus' death on the cross. So you have a substitutional power over you. The blood of Christ covers your sins. What a beautiful promise. Isaiah 41:10. Let me pray. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for all the Bible memory verses I have and just your whole word of God, Lord. And thank you for interacting on this country right now and the world. It's turned away from its evil lives. You expose evil everywhere, Lord. Continue to expose it, Lord. Allow that to be just ripped out completely. Thank you for doing that and allowing us to be alive at this point in time to be able to see it and participate in it, Lord. I thank you. And we love you, Lord. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys. Thanks a ton. Oh, somebody said 2 new drops. Looks like we're going to go along a little bit tonight, guys. Looks like Q is active on air. You got to love it. So here we go. We just got 2 new drops. Oh, there's the cameras. Let's go to 3400 first, though. Says Flynn back in the news. That was 3400. So we did read that one already. That was a Q proof. Just, you know, what was great about this Q proof is it's 7-8 just a couple days ago, and then yesterday, right? And then today, boom, 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 three future proofs passed in one day. You gotta love that. Now let's see what this says. This is 3401. You can see here's the pictures. I think Ray Chandler. Yeah, Ray Chandler is the one who actually posted this. And it looks like there's 16 channels. So that's the answer to that, 16 channels. So how many rooms and how many hallways? So down here, I'm going to go back a little bit. He goes 16 channels, 4x4. So you say, so that's interesting. I'm going to go back down here because this said, I think the big question was, oh, did I miss that? maybe it was back one more. Sorry for scrolling. I know that can make people dizzy as they're looking, so I'm trying to be careful. I'm going to go Control F and say how many channels. There it is. So this was on post 3399. So when it said how, so there's all the questions about the temple. What does the temple typically symbolize? That's the Moloch temple, usually is a child sacrifice. What does an owl symbolize? Dark religion. Tunnels underneath, they can do their trafficking and do potentially torture chambers, all kinds of other things. How many channels captured on Rex's picture? The answer is 16. Rooms indicate size. That's interesting. That's what I was looking for. Hallways shown. So I measured, and the answer must be no, because they're saying there's 4 by 4 in the rooms. So I think that would be the answer to that first question. So let's go back up now to this new post. So it shows Ray Chandler, basically, was she doing this for blackmail? Was she doing it for power? Or was she doing it to protect herself as insurance? That was one question Q had. But she says this person says a lot of bedrooms. This looks like a hallway, actually. But anyway, it says 16. This says 16 channels, 4 by 4. So, and it's kind of hard to tell because you can't see all of them. 1, 2, 3. You can't even see all 4 by 4, right? Because we don't see channel 13, for instance, and we don't see channel 9. So real interesting. But it's interesting to see some of these comments too. Somebody saying hashtag silver, hashtag QAnon, this is sick. Merville, yeah, what is this? Screenshot for sure. And so these are people talking about, but this was Ray Chandler posting it live. Some people are wondering if this was Hillary. And so could have she been threatened or something? It says, hey, I have pictures of you, Hillary. Here's a bunch of people, it looks like sitting down eating things. That's kind of gross. They look like they're sitting on some type of weird circular budget. But anyway, who knows what that is? Let me refresh one more time, see if we wrap this puppy up. Did I hit 30? Oh my goodness, he's dropping like mad. I think that was 3401 I was just looking at. Yes. So here's 3402. And an anon says, I see at least 3 staircases. So they're live. We're on live decoding and talking about this stuff with some great anons, obviously. And Q responds and says, degree of incline, indicate depth. Q, wow. So Q's doing his Socratic method of asking questions to get the anons to really dig into it. So based upon this, I don't know where I saw staircase. Oh, I thought this was a hallway. It's a staircase. I see. You really can't see. It looks like these are people again, most likely. That looks like people. I'm not sure where this anon saw 3 staircases. I guess this could be a staircase too. I'm not sure we see enough there. I see 2 staircases. But that's, oh, there it is, right here. So those 3 staircases are just 11, 7, and 8. See, so that's why you ask questions, you get people to analyze things a lot deeper. Degree of incline indicate depth. That's interesting. So they're basically proving that it's underground. And the flight log, somebody says. It's interesting to see what they might have been saying here. I like to go to QAnon.pub when they have something like that where he answered a question. It seems to go to the right place better for me. So when I see something like this where I'm not sure, well, what is he replying to? Usually I can find it if I go either to here or here. And so if I come to here, it's going to go to the actual 8chan board, which, by the way, guys, if the whole internet goes down, this might be the only thing up, right? So here it is. So you see the flight lock. He was replying to this right here. So it says note 213 on the bottom. It's right down here. When I click this, I can't point to it, guys, because I have to hold it right here, right? So it says note 2013 on the bottom. Date important, Q. So somehow that didn't come over on the board. All right, so let's see if it came over on this board. See, it didn't come over on either board yet. That's why they'll put it there later, But this is why, just to show you guys and teach you, is if you see these type of things, I think you might be able to get it from right here too. I'm going to click on this real quick to see if it does it as well. Yeah, so if you're on qmap.pub, you just click on that title, and that should go to that same place. So you can see, and it's you see how these are kind of bluish gray, and this is a pink one. So the pink one is the only one that matters. All this stuff is just other anons chatting. So to see what was posted, you click on this, and then you see the flight log, that said, right? So, and then you have to click on that one to actually see the actual thing I was just showing you, right? Which is right here. Note 2013 on the bottom, date important. So Q is decoding with people right now. It's pretty cool. He's actually showing that this was a 2013. I'm not sure where there it is, July 19th, 2013. So that is interesting. So in 2013, obviously we have these staircases, so you might be able to show the depth going down these puppies. He's talking about the incline, that etc. Looks like there's it looks like this might be this same thing. This is potentially, based upon what I'm looking at, that this could be a zoom in on 11. 11 has a more general view of the hallway and the staircase, and this is a zoom in on the 11. That's my guess anyway. I used to own a video camera business. That was my 2008 business. That is no longer open. Some of my franchisees made it though. It was a very good experience. Let's see here. Let's see. I know we're going way long here, so I'm going to refresh one more time, and I'm going to need to wrap it up. I've got a big work day tomorrow. Let's see what we have here. We have 3403. Yeah, so we finished up here. All right, God bless you guys. Looks like Hillary in Channel 11. That's what people are talking about. That's right. All right, I already prayed. I just want to say thank you guys so much. I love you. We're going to wrap it up here on Tuesday, July 9th. New Q. Trump says, my turn. We see billionaires are no longer blind to justice. Tell you what, exciting times, guys. God bless you. We'll talk to you next time.